Don't you find it funny that people are going off about how there's a lack of leadership? And a lot of the time, in my opinion, the people crowing loudest about the fact that there's a lack of leadership are the people crowing the loudest about how we're all equal.
Oh, I don't understand. Oh, if everybody's equal, then everybody should be able to be a leader?
Well, there's that conclusion.
What do you mean? It's because...
I don't mean that there's a particular conclusion that I would want people to make. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that people sit there saying, hey, there's a lack of leadership and, our leaders suck and blah, 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 and blah, blah this and blah, blah that, and there needs to be better leadership or more leadership or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, the same token, these are the same people. These people sit there and say, we're all equal.
That is funny.
I also think it's funny when people don't bother to look at what they're demanding or look at what their goals are.
There are no goals. It's just like
again, you're just kind of taking my statement and applying it to a very specific idea if you think that I'm talking about.
It's true. I am.
And which makes me wonder, because you told me that you used to be a musician, that you know how to play an instrument, and that you were in various bands, right?
Yeah.
And I just listening to you talk and carry on a conversation, it makes me wonder how good of a musician you were.
Shut up. You're a fucker.
No, not for a long, long time.
But that's the thing. Everybody points the finger and says, you need to do something. You're letting me down, or you're letting us down.
Well, they may be, but...
Yeah, I was thinking of a specific example. You're right.
But again, I really don't... I don't think that that's something that anyone should care or get bent out of shape about.
About people saying it?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I'm probably not like the example one should follow. I mean, I am not the picture of modern day success.
But you have to... Isn't it... Like, I feel like success these days is so... It's almost like people... It's like they just say, look at me, or look at what I've done. And then if you're the loudest, squeakiest voice, then people are like, oh, yeah.
Well, if that's all it takes, then...
Which is pretty fucked up.
If that's all it takes, then I have no confidence in the greatness of my species. Or let me walk that back a little bit. If that's the way it is, then my species is full of crap. And, I think it's another brick in the pile for the evidence for the Judeo-Christian attitude of God loves people so much that, that people are in an exalted position in the universe.
But why would he let us have this exalted position if we're so awful and terrible and bad?
Well, you're going back onto the whole deserves thing, right?
Yeah. Maybe we don't deserve it.
I don't think we deserve anything. And it seems like a very flippant point, and most people just kind of don't even think about it, but it's true. Nobody deserves the accolades they get, just like nobody deserves to be hated for no reason. There are tons of people that are. Dude, there are tons of people that hate me and haven't even met me.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
How?
How do you know that? There are plenty of cultures around that hate Americans. I'm an American, so they don't even know me, and yet they hate me.
Oh.
There are plenty of people that hate Asians. I happen to be both.
Oh.
There are plenty of people out there that think men are rapists.
See, I was thinking of like individual examples of people, like maybe people listening to the podcast, and I was like, there's no way you could know that.
Well, I think it'd be kind of weird for someone to hate me and yet listen to me on a regular basis. To To me, that would be a little bit of ambivalence.
People do that, though. That happens actually quite a lot.
In what weird movie does that happen?
That happens like on things like Twitter. Like people will follow somebody they really, really hate just so that they can sit there and like attack them.
That is both lazy and stupid at the same time.
I didn't say it made sense.
It makes sense. I didn't say that it was nonsensical. I just said that it's both lazy and stupid at the same time.
What the heck were we talking about?
I have no clue.
I'm like completely lost.
How's that different from any other time in your life?
That's not fair.
Sure it is.
What do you mean? Nah, whatever. Lost. I don't even know what that means.
Not found.
So you just said I'm lost?
You said you were lost.
I'm lost in the podcast, not in life.
Oh, good grief. I don't talk about specifics.
Oh, so you're just making an off-the-cuff statement?
No, you said I'm lost, and I said, how's that different from anything else in your life?
Yeah, that's like a personal affront attack.
Why is it? Is it so? Okay, so define attack. Does it have to be something that you dislike for it to be an attack?
Yes.
So it can be truthful, but it's still an attack.
That was an attack, though, wasn't it?
No.
You just said I'm lost all the time.
You said you're lost, and I said, how's that?
I'm lost on the podcast, not in life.
You said you were lost, and I said, well, how's that different from any other time in your life when you're lost?
Oh, I don't think that's what you said.
It's not exactly what I said, but I just said, how's that like anything else in your life? Aren't you lost a lot?
No.
Really? So, in a preponderance of everything else in your life, you are pretty much on point, not lost, on the road, doing what you do, and then you come here and get drunk off of sake, and now you're all like, I'm lost.
I ain't got nothing to say.
That's a sad, sad, sad way to be, buddy.
You got nothing to say, bro.
I'm not your bro.
Really?
Don't make me tase you.
Why are you talking about tasing people?
Because apparently that was what somebody said just before he got tased in the Las Vegas airport in like 2008 or 10 or whatever it was.
What? Don't tase me?
Don't tase me, bro.
Don't the Canadians like to tase people in the airport as well?
Only if they're very old and can't fight back.
They tased them to death, didn't they?
Well, he was very old and couldn't fight back.
That was when we were up there.
That was a long time ago, yes.
This was a little while ago. I don't like to think about how long ago it is. I don't like to think about how old I am.
Well, think about how you've like surpassed all those people that have died before they hit your age.
That's great. I guess that's positive.
The majority of the people that stormed the beaches on D-Day in the Second World War, they were younger than you. Except for Teddy Roosevelt.
How many years it's been?
Teddy Roosevelt II.
How many years has it been?
75 years.
Wow. And now we have like Antifa.
Who try to compare themselves to...
Right. Except they're fascists. Except for that part.
I don't know what they are.
They behave like fascists.
Well, my whole point is, and this is a rehash.
Who came up with the name?
I don't know. But funnily enough, their whole symbol is basically the same as what the Nazis were using when they were calling themselves anti-fascists. Except for the color.
But you have to be in line with what they're thinking.
Well...
Doesn't that make you a fascist?
Well, you have to be in line with the Catholic Church on what they're thinking.
No.
To be part of the Catholic Church. Does that make the Catholic Church fascist?
No. You're in your logical fucking reasoning.
I think it's funny that nobody wants anyone to be able to speak freely.
This is true.
But I forgot what I was going to talk about before. Oh yeah, it was a pretty nonsensical thing about most of the people that died on the beaches during the D-Day invasions, the Normandy invasions, were younger than you, except for one person I can think of, which is Teddy Roosevelt Jr.
A lot younger than me, though, mate.
Yeah.
How many people died on the beaches?
Oh, thousands. You know, considering it was this month. It was a couple weeks ago.
Do you think kids in school now know about it?
I don't know what they do. I don't have any kids in school.
You have friends who have kids, though.
So do you.
Yeah. I can't imagine those kids would really know too much about it.
You know, I hope those friends and those kids aren't listening to this very statement that I'm about to make, but I really don't care that much about what they're learning in school.
Oh. But they're the future.
Sure. Look, the point is, right? I don't care as much of what they're learning in school as their parents might be.
Yeah.
And aren't the parents the one that are supposed to care the most?
Well, yeah, one would hope.
Aren't the parents the ones that are supposed to be driving the stuff?
Yeah.
And funnily enough, don't most teachers and school systems and school administrators dislike parents that are very involved in their child's education?
I don't know about that.
Yes.
I doubt that.
I remember teachers telling me that it's a pain in the butt to be a teacher in a school system that's relatively affluent and where the parents are very involved.
Oh.
What they want is a bunch of poor kids whose parents couldn't give two shits or are too busy trying to work to give them shit about why Sally and Jimmy aren't making A's in, biology or whatever, or what.
So, but I'm trying to think which is better. It's probably better for the parents to be more involved.
Well, if you're an involved parent,
then you know what the hell your kid's being taught.
Actually, I don't know how I don't know if it's still this way, but about 15, 20 years ago, the best public school system was the Department of Defense schools.
Why?
Smaller, dude. Parents were very involved. It was all free, so it was considered or held up to be one of the best public school systems. A lot of those teachers are parents.
Right.
A lot of those teachers were spouses, the non-military spouses.
Right.
And it could all be propaganda.
So why haven't they designed a school, why didn't they...
Because we're not all equal, number one.
That sounds like a good system.
Well...
Why can't they emulate it?
They can, but we're not all equal.
And?
The Department of Defense their school system is probably pretty small compared to all the school systems in the United States. The Department of Defense school systems, they are in several states and countries. But, if there's anything that I want to have penetrate is, number one, we're not all equal. The goal to treat us all equally under certain circumstances is a laudable goal, and I want it to happen. But it's not, because we're not all equal. And, you can write as many laws as you want. They're still going to be interpreted by people that aren't all equal.
Yeah.
Especially in juries, right? There are people that believe, I can't remember what that woman's name is, and her case is so old, it's like 10 years now, There are a lot of people who believe that she killed her daughter. But she was cute. And she was able to She was able to sell her story to ABC News that paid for her defense, and she got off.
She did. You're right.
There are plenty of people that get railroaded into guilty verdicts when they didn't do anything. There are people that confess to stuff that they didn't do anything to, and it's kind of funny how everyone sits there and thinks, well, if someone confessed, then they must have done it.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as duress.
I think that it's number one, highly stupid to sit there and think that you are the best exemplar of the human species there is. And funnily enough, pretty close to 100% of everybody on this planet thinks that.
That's so true. I know, I think that.
Again, you are not adding anything to my statistics.
No, I'm not sorry.
And you're making my solo piece sound bad.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're not. I'm just saying, by analogy, you probably sucked as a musician. Before I just decided to say you probably weren't very good, but now I will come out and say it. I bet you're lousy.
Whatever.
And you've thrown off my train of thought. I hope you're happy.
No, I have not. You're talking about What are you talking about?
I I can't listen to myself and talk at the same time.
Still recording.
And oddly enough, people don't want to... I think it's also funny how people claim... A lot of people sit there and say people are sheep, but they just want to follow. And they say it as if they're talking about everybody else but them.
That's so true, too.
Because, I don't want to follow, and I'm having a hard time in life.
Yeah. There's every fucker on Twitter that has, hundreds of thousands or millions of followers.
What is it with you and this Twitter contraption?
I don't know, man.
I mean, you've got a very unhealthy relationship with this bird.
It fascinates me. That
you say it like that's... People are fascinated by fire. They're called arsonists.
I get a little obsessed with it. I'm obsessed by the kind of back and forth that goes on, and also just the level of vitriol and just the crazy
shit. What does vitriol mean?
Just hateful stuff.
Is it? Is that what vitriol means?
I'm pretty sure.
So you don't know what it means, you like the way it sounds, and you're just kind of using it.
I think it's hateful talk. It's like people saying awful things to each other. But Twitter...
So you enjoy that?
Everybody on Twitter talks about the coming revolution and just all this stuff, all this talk, and about how they say that a lot. They say everyone's a sheep, like they're not.
Coming revolution. On that note,
the revolution is coming, Dave.
I think you're a little too drunk to be coherent.
Yes, probably.
But then, what's your excuse when you're sober?
I don't know, man. Thanks. Well, we're not thanking anybody for tuning in anymore, are we?
Well, you can do whatever you want, you drunk bastard.
Ugh.